Alright, I'm just gonna start recording, but yeah, I have this lab guide for SSH hardening that I printed out to do a little test with, and I just want to record the setup process for this, just so I have it, and maybe I'll make another video about it. But basically, all I did was open my terminal, and I have Claude Code installed, as you can see here, and all I did, I enabled caveman mode because it limits the verbose, output, and just makes it more concise and limits the amount of tokens it uses. And I basically pointed it towards the guide that Gemini gave me yesterday, which is this lab guide. And I'll put that in a link in the video. And I basically asked it, after I pointed it to the guide, can you help me set up a testing environment on our Proxmox host to complete the simple lab? So I already have a Proxmox hypervisor set up, and after asking it that, it went through a couple of decisions for me to do. So basically said what container type for the lab target. I chose Rocky Linux 9 LXC. It asked what container ID and IP address to use, and I just went with the first default. Which SSH key, I went with the first default, and to create a non-root lab user or root only, and I asked it to create a lab user with sudo access, so that we can still maneuver around and do things on the device, because I'm going to make this into a series where we just go through on a brand new Rocky Linux 9 LXC and harden it, and go through and just do other projects and just kind of maneuver around and kind of whatever I think of to add to this series. It's not very structured right now. I'm just doing very clear and concise videos. So we'll get back to this when the container is made. Alright, so we had a little break, and Claude Code went ahead and created our container for the Rocky 9. And I was talking with Gemini, kind of giving it some of the output from Claude Code, and it just kind of helped me work through. We're not going to go into this is kind of heavy, but it helped me go through what Claude Code was having issues with. So it's good, I think, to kind of tag team these kind of projects. Alright, so we're going to open a new tab, and I'm just going to go ahead and put this right here so we can read what it has. Alright, so basically we are going to SSH to the container it just created, the Rocky Linux 9. And Rocky Linux 9 is basically, from my knowledge, alright, let's see. Okay, so we're at step 1 now. But Rocky Linux 9 is the, I guess, non-corporate version of Red Hat Enterprise Linux. It's basically, I don't know if it's open source or not, but it's the one that, you don't have to pay for to access. So we are at step 1. We logged in with the lab user up here, and basically we're just going to do sudo vi /etc//sshd_config. Now we are in the sshd config. You can see at the bottom here, etc /ssh/sshd_config. A lot of SSHs. And for this, what we can do to find the permit root login, you can either just look, with your mouse, and on Mac you can scroll up and down. But what I usually do is if you hit slash and just type in what you're looking for, so permit root login. I'm going based off of the guide that we permitted, that we set up here. So permit root login, you can see right here it says prohibit password. We're going to change this, and we're going to, so you just hit enter and it'll highlight yellow. Now we can use either our mouse keys, or you can use J, K, H, and L. And those will move you, so H will move you left, L will move you right, J will move you down, and K will move you up. I use arrow keys just because it's familiar, but it's not a bad habit to get into using the H, J, K, L hotkeys as well. So, navigate to the permit root login. You're gonna hit I, which will change insert to the bottom here. And then you can use your arrow keys, or, well, yeah, because H, J, K, L are now inserting characters. So you can only use the arrow keys to move around in the prompt now. But basically after you hit I, you're going to want to go to the end of the line that you want to remove, and you just go to the end and hit backspace. And now we're going to type no. And the next thing we're going to do is look for password authentication. So we're going to hit escape. That'll take us out of insert. We're going to do / again. We're going to do password authentication. And you can see right here, password authentication is at yes. So we're going to want to turn that to no. So same thing. After you searched it with your / or with just navigating with the arrow keys, or H, J, K, L, you're going to want to go to the end of the line, hit I for insert, then make sure you just delete what you want to delete and hit escape. Oh, I'm sorry, you want to stay in insert so you can type. So once you're finished in insert, hit escape. And the next thing that we're going to change is max off tries. We're going to change it from the default here that is 6, and we're going to change that to 3. So the same thing, insert, navigate to the end of the line, delete, and then once you're finished, hit escape. All right, and that's all we were going to change. So now that we're finished, hit escape, and you're going to hit :WQ. So :WQ, that is going to save and quit, which from my understanding, it just means write and quit, WQ, also known as save and quit. So now we can test the configuration for syntax errors before restarting the service. So we're going to do sudo sshd space -t. If no output is returned, restart the SSH service to apply the changes. So we're going to do sudo systemctl restart sshd, and that completes the lab. So as long as you can log in with the SSH key, and if you don't see the server reject your password, and is the root login denied. So basically everything that we set is what we're looking for, and that is a basic guide on SSH hardening. If you like this video, give it a like, and if you want to see more short lab tutorials that just walk you through on how to do basic Linux administration, go ahead and subscribe. I'm going to try and keep putting videos like this out when I have a minute, and maybe even improve the production quality, because right now I'm just pointing my phone at my screen and it works. So that's how I'm going to do it. Alright, see ya.